Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really game-changing from Nassim Taleb. It's his concept, the Triad of Fragility. And look, this isn't just some dusty theory. It's like a lens, a totally different way to understand stress, uncertainty, chaos, really.
That's the key thing, isn't it? Taleb shows us, pretty convincingly, I think, that not all systems react the same way when life throws curveballs.
Right. We tend to think stress is just bad, full stop.
Exactly. But he says, hang on, some things do break under pressure, sure. Some are built up, they just endure it.
Okay.
But then there's this third category. This is the kicker. Some things actually get stronger from the chaos. That's the triad. Fragile, robust, and antifragile.
Fragile, robust, anti-fragile.
Got it. And you can use this framework for, well, pretty much anything. Your business, politics, investing.
Even personal stuff,
Yeah.
like health.
Yeah, your health, your mindset, how you handle things psychologically, it applies everywhere.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. We want you to walk away with this lens so you can figure out, when the next storm hits, and it will hit, is it going to break you, leave you sort of unchanged?
Could it actually make you stronger? More powerful?
Exactly. So let's start unpacking this, beginning with the ones that break. The fragile systems.
Right.
These are the systems that, well, they really hate volatility, don't they? Randomness, stress, bad news for them. Predictability is their friend.
Absolutely. They get harmed by shocks.
Yeah.
And the tricky thing is they often look perfect, sleek, efficient, maybe over-optimized.
Yeah, like there's no fat trim, no buffer.
No slack at all, no room for error. They seem flawless.
Yeah.
Right up until the moment they just aren't.
Okay, so what's the core trait there? How does that fragility manifest?
Well, the payoff is sort of linear. Small stress might cause a small dent, maybe.
Manageable?
Right. But a big shock, it doesn't just cause big damage. It causes total disproportionate collapse.
Whoosh.
Gone, pretty much. And the risk, it often builds up silently. You don't see it. It's hiding under that shiny, efficient surface until, bam, it explodes.
So they need control, centralization.
Heavily reliant on it, yeah, to keep up that illusion of order.
The metaphor Taleb uses is pretty stark, isn't it? The glass vase.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful one. It looks perfect. Maybe it's beautifully designed.
Balanced, catches the light.
Right. But drop it once.
Shattered. Gone. No fixing it. That apparent stability was just fake.
And you see this everywhere in the real world. Think about just-in-time supply chains. Before the pandemic, everyone loved them.
Super efficient, low inventory costs.
Exactly. Looked great on the spreadsheet. But that extreme optimization, that was the fragility. One port closure, one factory lockdown.
And suddenly, no car parts, no toilet paper. The whole thing just seized up.
Total cascade failure. Optimized for collapse, you could say. Or think Kodak.
Oh, classic example.
Empire built on film. So optimized for that business model, they couldn't pivot to digital, even though they invented the first digital camera. Isn't that ironic?
Crazy. Blockbuster video too, right? Optimized for renting DVDs and hitting people with late fees.
And then streaming just shattered them. Didn't even see it coming or couldn't react if they did.
So is it fair to say they kind of engineered their own failure by chasing that surface perfection? Like, how could they have spotted that weakness earlier?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The trouble is, the benefits of that efficiency are right there. You see them immediately on the bottom line.
But the risks are hidden, invisible until the crisis hits.
Exactly. When things are calm, these systems look like winners. It's the lack of stress that hides the weakness. LTCM is another big one from finance.
Long-term capital management, the hedge fund.
Yeah, back in '98, highly leveraged, run by Nobel Prize winners, no less. Their models looked bulletproof, steady returns for years.
Until they weren't.
Until Russia defaulted on its bonds, an unexpected shock. Blew them up almost overnight, nearly took the whole financial system with them.
Wow. Years of smooth sailing hid that catastrophic fragility.
Deep fragility, yeah.
And it's not just these massive companies or funds, is it? This applies to us as individuals, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about someone who spends their whole life avoiding anything uncomfortable. Never takes a risk, never faces rejection, stays way inside their comfort zone.
Seems like they've got it all under control.
Right, smooth sailing. But then life inevitably throws that curveball, job loss, a breakup, a health issue.
And they just crack.
They crack because they've never built up any resilience. They haven't practiced dealing with adversity. They're that glass vase.
And societally. You mentioned central planning.
Yeah, like the Soviet 5-year plans. Looked impressive, very structured on paper, but completely rigid. When reality didn't match the plan, which it never does, They couldn't adapt. Fragile.
So fragility really is that illusion of stability. It loves the calm, but chaos is its death sentence. Hidden perfection is a massive weakness.
Right.
Okay, let's shift gears. What's the next step up from fragile?
That would be robust.
Robust, okay. So if fragile is the glass vase.
The robust is the rock in the storm.
Okay. I like that. It can take a beating, right? It endures the stress, doesn't break easily.
Exactly. It gets battered, maybe chipped, but it remains fundamentally intact. But here's the key difference. It doesn't improve from the stress.
It just survives, stays the same.
Right. It resists change, remains static, built for survival, not transformation.
So how are robust systems built? What are their traits?
They're usually built with buffers, redundancies, extra strength,
Makes sense, like safety margins.
Yeah. Their payoff is kind of flat. Stress doesn't easily destroy them, and this is crucial, it doesn't make them stronger either. The whole focus is defense, protection, stability.
Often bureaucratic, you mentioned.
Can be, yeah, because stability often involves rules, procedures, maintaining the status quo. They survive, but they don't really evolve.
So the rock metaphor holds, battered but intact, enduring, not changing.
Spot on. And examples are easy to find. Businesses with huge cash reserves, maybe multiple suppliers for key components, solid contingency plans.
They can ride out a recession better.
Definitely. They might not be the flashiest in boom times, but they survive the downturns. Think about aviation.
The redundancies.
Exactly. Deliberate redundancy. If one engine fails, the plane doesn't crash. Others take over. That's robustness built in. Or IBM.
They've survived multiple tech upheavals, haven't they?
Mainframes, PCs, services, cloud. They weren't always the quickest to adopt, perhaps, but they were built tough, hard to kill, robust structure.
Okay, so robustness sounds pretty good, maybe always desirable, but you also said stasis, stagnation. Is there a trade-off?
Absolutely a trade-off. Robustness prioritizes survival over growth or adaptation. It plays defense. Look at sovereign wealth funds like Norway's.
They saved their oil money.
Right. Stashed it away in massive reserves. That allows them to absorb economic shocks that would flatten other countries. They built those buffers to endure, not really to innovate aggressively.
Okay. And personally?
Personally, you could think of the stoic grinder,
Yeah.
someone who just powers through hardship, takes the hits, doesn't collapse.
Admirable resilience.
For sure.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily transform or grow stronger because of the struggle. They just endure. They survive. Static survivors, like a concrete bunker, but, a person.
Gotcha. And policy-wise? Safety nets.
Yeah. Social safety nets, emergency reserves, they protect people, prevent total societal collapse during crises. Crucial stuff. But they don't inherently make society more adaptable or dynamic in response to the next crisis. They're about holding the line.
So robustness is good, necessary even, but its big limitation is that it's static. It survives, but it stays in the bunker. It doesn't learn, doesn't evolve. Survival is good, but maybe not the whole story.
Exactly. It's not enough for real dynamic progress.
Which leads us finally to Taleb's really big idea, the one that messes with your intuition, antifragility.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting.
Because these systems, they don't just resist stress, they actually need it. They get stronger because of shock.
That's it. They literally feed on volatility, randomness, stressors. Disorder is their friend. It's the fuel for improvement.
Wow. Okay, unpack that. How does that even work?
Well, anti-fragile systems thrive on things like variability, trying stuff out, even failing. Their payoff is nonlinear, which is key.
Nonlinear. How so?
Small stresses don't just get absorbed. They trigger an overreaction, an overcompensation. The system rebuilds itself stronger than before. Think about lifting weights.
The classic example, micro tears in the muscle.
Exactly. It hurts a bit, that's the stress. But the body overcompensates, rebuilds the muscle fibers thicker, stronger, no stress, no growth. Astronauts lose muscle in space for a reason.
Right, zero gravity, no stress.
Anti-fragile systems are often decentralized, adaptive, evolutionary. They use trial and error constantly. Mistakes aren't just errors, they're information. Fuel for growth.
And you mentioned something profound, that the system's anti-fragility depends on the fragility of its parts.
Yes, that's a crucial, maybe paradoxical point. Think of an ecosystem. Individual animals might die, individual trees might fall.
Which is fragile at that level.
Right. But those individual failures provide information and resources that strengthen the entire ecosystem. The system learns and adapts because its components are tested, and some fail. That failure isn't wasted.
That's fascinating. So the system needs those small failures to learn and get stronger overall.
It absolutely does. It needs that feedback loop. The metaphors Taleb uses are great for this. Muscle growth, we mentioned. The hydra from mythology.
Cut off one head.
To grow back, that's antifragile. And his favorite, fire. Wind blows out a candle that's fragile.
Right.
Wind does nothing much to a rock that's robust.
Right.
But wind fuels a fire, makes it stronger, bigger. That's antifragile.
Love that. So the big insight, don't just survive chaos, use it. Leverage setbacks, emerge stronger because of the storm.
Precisely. Look at biology again. Our immune system. Exposure to germs, pathogens. It sucks at the time, maybe you get sick.
But your immune system learns, gets stronger for next time.
Exactly. Bones strengthen under load. Forests, believe it or not, need small fires. Clears out the dead undergrowth, prevents a massive catastrophic fire later, healthy stress.
And in the business world, Silicon Valley.
Perfect example. It's a cauldron of antifragility. Startups fail constantly, right? Lots of fragility at the individual company level.
All the time. Most fail.
But those failures aren't wasted. Knowledge gets shared, talent moves to the next venture, investors learn what doesn't work. The ecosystem as a whole gets stronger, more innovative.
Amazon seems to embody this too. Constant experiments.
Oh, yeah. They treat setbacks as data. Remember the Fire Phone? Total disaster.
Huge flop.
But the learnings from that failure directly led to Alexa and the Echo. They turned a fragile failure into an anti-fragile success for the wider company. That's a masterclass.
Wow. And in finance, Taleb's own strategy.
The barbell is brilliant. Put most of your money, say 90%, in something incredibly safe. Cash, treasury bonds, boring stuff. Protect you from ruin.
Okay, the safe end of the barbell.
Then take the remaining 10% and put it into highly speculative, high-risk, high-upside bets. Venture capital, options, whatever.
Where volatility is your friend.
Exactly. Most of those small bets will probably go to zero. But you only need one massive winner to pay for all the losers many times over. The portfolio actually benefits from unpredictable high-impact events.
So it embraces volatility on one end while being super safe on the other.
That's the idea. Personally, this connects to post-traumatic growth. People who don't just bounce back from trauma, but are genuinely transformed by it.
Like Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison.
And emerged as a global statesman. Strengthened, not just unbroken, or athletes. They deliberately stress their bodies in training.
Breaking down muscle to build it back stronger, building resilience.
It's cultivating that mindset where stress isn't the enemy. It's the raw material for becoming better.
And policy. How does anti-fragility look there?
Think adaptive laws, economies that learn from crises instead of just trying to patch things up. Capitalism's creative destruction, maybe.
Where individual business failures are allowed.
So the overall economy can adapt and avoid systemic collapse. Microfragility enables macro-antifragility. It's using those localized failures as feedback.
Okay, so the big takeaway for anti-fragility. Don't just tolerate disorder, actively embrace it. It's the secret sauce for strength.
You got it.
All right, let's tie this all together. Taleb's triad, fragile, robust, anti-fragile, it's fundamentally a way to diagnose things.
Exactly, a diagnostic lens.
The key question you, the listener, need to ask about any system, your job, your health, your investments, yourself, is simply, how does this thing react to stress, to randomness, to volatility?
That's the core question, and the answers tell you where it sits on the spectrum. If it breaks, it's fragile.
Yes.
If it just endures, it stays the same, it's robust. And if it actually gets stronger, thrives on the chaos, that's anti-fragile.
The fire. This gives us a clear hierarchy then. Fragility leads to failure. Robustness is about survival, but anti-fragility, that's transformation.
Couldn't say it better. Fragile systems are playing a losing game long term. Robust systems hang in there. Anti-fragile systems are the ones that win because of the game's inherent uncertainty.
Now, Taleb issues a really big warning here, and it feels counterintuitive. He talks about the great trap. Over-optimization.
Ah, yes. This is huge.
The idea that chasing perfection, super sleek efficiency, getting rid of every bit of waste, that actually makes you fragile.
It absolutely does, because you strip out all the redundancy, all the slack, all the buffers that you need to absorb shocks.
Taleb's line is stark. Efficiency is fragility in disguise. Wow. It feels like we're often chasing the wrong goal, aiming for perfection instead of resilience.
It's a fundamental misunderstanding, I think. Look at nature. Does nature optimize purely for efficiency?
Doesn't seem like it.
No. It optimizes for survival, for adaptability. That's why we have 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, 2 eyes. Redundancy. From a pure efficiency standpoint, one might do. But nature knows shocks happen. Redundancy is insurance.
But businesses, obsessed with quarterly results.
They often slash those very redundancies. cut costs, streamline, making themselves incredibly brittle in the process. Penny wise, pound foolish, you could say.
And our modern world throws up some specific challenges to becoming more anti-fragile, doesn't it? One you mentioned is naive interventionism.
Right. This is our urge to smooth everything out, eliminate all volatility, protect everyone from every little bump in the road.
Sounds good, maybe. Benign.
Seems benign. But Taleb argues it actually makes society more fragile. By removing the small, necessary stressors, we allow hidden problems to fester and grow huge. Like protecting a muscle by never letting it lift anything. It just atrophies.
That's a powerful analogy. What about the turkey problem? That sounds intriguing.
Huh. Yeah, it's not about Thanksgiving. It's about how we extrapolate from the past. The turkey's fed every day for 1,000 days. Every day confirms the farmer's benevolence.
Life is good, predictable.
Until the day before Thanksgiving. The turkey's model, based on past data, completely failed to predict the catastrophic event. We do this all the time. Assume the worst thing that has happened is the worst thing that can happen.
Like the Fukushima example, designing the reactor based on past earthquakes.
Not considering a truly massive, unprecedented black swan tsunami. That reliance on a narrow view of past risks creates immense fragility. Blindness to the extreme and rare.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but what can people listening do? How can you personally become more anti-fragile?
Great question. Taleb offers practical advice. First, that barbell strategy we talked about. Apply it to your life.
So minimize the really big ruinous risks. Protect your downside, maybe 90% safe.
Exactly. Don't expose yourself to catastrophic failure. But with the other 10%, take small calculated risks with potentially huge upsides. Explore, experiment, try new things where the cost of failure is low, but the potential gain is massive.
Protect from ruin, expose to upside. Got it. What else?
Second, maximize your options. Avoid being squeezed. Seek situations where you have choices, where you have the option to act, but not the obligation.
Yeah.
Avoid getting locked into paths where you have no alternative, especially if things go wrong.
Keep doors open. Don't back yourself into a corner.
Precisely. And finally, and maybe hardest, lean into discomfort. Don't run from stress. Seek it out in controlled doses.
Like the weightlifter.
Exactly. Treat setbacks, failures, challenges not as disasters, but as information, as raw material for getting stronger. Build resilience by deliberately facing stress.
So the core message really is stop trying to just withstand shocks. Start designing your life, your business, whatever, to actually feed on them.
Embrace the volatility, build in redundancy, cultivate adaptability.
And never, ever mistake that surface stability for real strength.
Couldn't say it better. To wrap up with Taleb's own powerful metaphor, the one we touched on, wind extinguishes a candle.
Fragile.
Wind does nothing to a rock.
Robust.
Wind fuels a fire.
Anti-fragile. The question he leaves us with is stark. In the storm, which one are you?
The wise, he argues, deliberately choose to build fires. They design for antifragility.
So the storms are definitely coming. Volatility isn't going away. The real question for you to think about after this is simple. When that wind picks up, are you the candle, the rock, or the fire? Where do you fall on that spectrum, and how could you start designing for transformation?